Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to Overwatch Central and today's video, and we're first going to be taking a look at a new skin that was actually revealed for the Winter Wonderland event before we really get into it. So yeah, let's have a look at it. It is a skin for Symmetra and it's the figure skater skin that we all were kind of expecting. The name had leaked a while back, but look at this gun and just this outfit. Looks really cool. Yeah, Symmetra looking really good, and yeah, the skin will be available with the Winter Wonderland event on the 11th, so that's Tuesday, coming up very soon actually. But yeah, this skin was revealed and I thought I'd show it off for the start of the video, so yeah, that's gonna be available. And yeah, the Winter Wonderland event is actually right around the corner, but let's get back to the video inside of this skin reveal. Anyway, moving on, I want to talk about Reinforce's talk with Geoff Goodman on his stream. So basically, if you don't know, some streamers are invited to Blizzard HQ to just sit down and stream, do their usual thing basically, and then some developers drop by occasionally just to chat about the game and the balance and in general sort of community feedback. It's a great way to sort of connect and for them to stay updated with the community and for us to stay updated with their thoughts. And Geoff Goodman was by and talking a little bit, and a few different people covered this, a few different things were highlighted, and whilst there's a lot of like fun speculation that can be made here and there, I wanted to highlight two things in particular. First off, there is a new PTR patch coming next week that Geoff Goodman confirmed, and in that PTR patch we'll see a few different changes. Everything is not quite sort of detailed just yet, but we will see some changes being made to the way barriers react to, for example, Ash's fire and just those sort of visual changes, and apparently some other things that have to do with those type of visual fixes around shields. Most likely we will also be seeing some balance changes be made to certain characters, because we have heard kind of rumors and mentions from devs about various balance changes coming. However, there is also a very interesting discussion in this video, or in this VOD, towards the end of where Geoff Goodman sort of leaves, and just before he does that, he talks about hero bans. And we talked about this before on the channel, why it's good, why it's bad, and what could be very interesting with trying it out. And this is the thing, Geoff says the following in the video, right?
I can tell you from the development standpoint where we kind of sit with bans. Can't really speak to OWL necessarily, but from the development side, I think we talked about bans as early as like way before the game even shipped. Because obviously you mentioned MOBA comparisons and everything. There are some good things about bans, some bad things about bans. I think no matter what though, it's pretty hard to do bans in a game where we only have 30 heroes.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot more sense in MOBA games where you have 100 heroes, and if you banning one hero doesn't necessarily dictate the entire match or something.
Yeah.
If somebody bans Reinhardt right now, you're essentially banning a lot of things, not just Reinhardt. You're banning like entire strategies.
Now, I can totally understand this argument with the fact that it would kind of limit the sort of hero pick pool quite heavily since you only have 30 heroes. However, the hero ban that's been talked about is that each team would just ban one hero each. Now, imagine if, say, in Geoff Goodman's case here, he talks about one hero being banned, which counters an entire comp or an entire strategy. I can totally see that happening. Say that Reinhardt is banned, as an example. And all of a sudden, you can't really play that sort of typical GOATS comp with a Reinhardt and stuff, but instead, maybe you would have to run Orisa or Winston. But I feel like this kind of just highlights the lack of just the amount of heroes that Overwatch has, and especially when it comes down to that sort of stuff. Imagine banning a specific like DPS hero. All of a sudden you wouldn't really have that issue because there's so many DPS characters and a lot of them can be replaced with each other. Meanwhile, in the main tank slot, that's not really a thing, and I feel like this argument is kind of weak because of this, as this more highlights Overwatch's lack of heroes and lack of heroes within certain roles rather than anything else. So I feel like this argument is really weak, but I wanted to continue listening to this, and I do think that he makes a couple of good points as well that Reinforce also talks about right here.
And I mean, I'm scared what impact that will have on the game as well, because some people are asking for it, but I don't really truly believe they know what the result of that would be, And especially in a league like Overwatch, like if you're a team that practices a lot of Reinhardt, and suddenly they ban Reinhardt, then you'll have to go to maybe your C or D plan, and then you get lower level because they're not playing what they practice the most.
So that's definitely a big part of it too. But there's also a side to it that is, you take certain players that get really well known for certain heroes, even if they're not necessarily like main picks. I mean, this is an example of not necessarily main pick, but like, you take, somebody like Jonak or whatever. Like, do you not want to see Jonak play Zen? Like, what if Zen just gets banned all the time? It's like, it's kind of a bummer. You kind of want to see that as a spectator, right? So I always hate when the bans get like player targeted rather than sort of like comp or like meta targeted or something like that. That's where it starts to feel, as a spectator, it feels like, oh, that's kind of weak.
And this is very true. Having hero bans like this would really change the way something like Overwatch League works. And just in general, practicing Overwatch would be super hard all of a sudden, because you would have hero bans and you wouldn't be able to practice certain comps and ways of playing in that same way. But you would also have hero bans in scrims, so I don't know, maybe it could work out. Point is that we can't really know without trying, and I feel like trying it on the PTR isn't a bad thing. I'm not sure why they're kind of sounding like they're moving away from this already, instead of actually just moving towards trying it out at least and seeing what people think and what it's like. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to be in Overwatch League, it could just be on ladder. Now, on top of all of that, Geoff Goodman says this interesting thing about how Overwatch doesn't have enough heroes for hero bans to work, but if you're talking about MOBAs, then a lot of those games have quite a lot of bans because they have quite a lot of heroes, but it's about 10% of the pool, maybe a bit less, a bit here and there, but overall hero-based games tend to have some bans. Overwatch doesn't have any, and mathematically, if you look at this right here, having 2 bans in Overwatch total, so 1 per team, would actually kind of work out, mathematically at least. I feel like this is something that should be moved towards being tested and tried out, rather than being kind of moved away from, because Geoff makes a lot of arguments here against this rather than for it in any sort of way. I don't know, that's just kind of my 2 cents on it though. I do hope that they try this out. Check out Reinforce's Twitch channel, and of course the summary in the description of this entire talk. A lot of interesting stuff has been said, but that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more Overwatch content, of course. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care, and yeah, I'll see you then.